subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hello everybody, welcome to the test discussion for the Indian economy. In this particular discussion, we shall be taking up a question that was asked in our mains test series program. The question here was, despite being one of the largest producers of the agricultural commodities, the agricultural export has not been a strong point both at macroeconomic, that is at the level of nation, and microeconomic, that is at the level of farmers in India. Discuss various constraints and bottlenecks in boosting the agricultural export from India. As you can see here, this particular question was asked for 15 marks and you are required to write the answer in 250 words. Now, before I start discussing the answer to this particular question as well as the suggested answer structure, let me first highlight as to why we have asked this particular question in our mains test series program. See, when we make questions in our mains test series program, we try to replicate the themes that the UPSC is likely to ask in the upcoming mains examination. And in order to do that, we carry out a detailed and thorough analysis of the previous year mains question papers. Now, this is basically the analysis of the GS paper 3, particularly with respect to Indian economy for the last 4 years. Now, if you look at the weightage that has been assigned to the Indian economy in the GS paper 3, that is out of 250 marks, the weightage which is assigned to Indian economy has been around 110 marks. This is the average weightage in the last 3 to 4 years. Now, in Indian economy, you have different themes such as agriculture and allied sector, inclusive growth, budgeting and taxation, infrastructure, investment, industrial policy, LPG reforms, and so on. Out of these themes, the themes that have been getting the maximum amount of weightage in the last 4-year mains happens to be the theme of agriculture as well as the inclusive growth. On an average, we can expect out of 110 marks, minimum 40 to 50 marks from the Indian agriculture itself. That is why we have this particular question related to the agricultural exports. The second reason as to why we have asked this particular question is, if you look at the present status of our agricultural exports, the Indian agriculture has made rapid strides as far as the production of the agricultural commodities is concerned. Today, the overall production of food grains has increased to almost around 280 million tons, and India happens to be one of the largest producer of the food grains. India is also the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables. However, in spite of the fact that we have been able to enhance the production of the agricultural commodities, the agricultural exports from India have not increased to a commensurate level. For example, the overall share of the India in the overall share of the agricultural exports from the world, that is the global share, it is hardly around 2%, and India is placed at 9th rank. So just you can understand the significance here. In terms of production, probably India is among the top producer, but in terms of exports, we are placed at 9th rank, and our share in terms of the global share of the agricultural exports is hardly around 2%. Secondly, there is lack of diversification of our agricultural exports, wherein our agricultural export basket as such is basically dominated by two commodities. These two commodities are basmati rice and marine products. Thirdly, most of the agricultural commodities that we export to other countries, they are of low value. That is, we do not undertake significant amount of processing of these agricultural before we export them to other countries. Now, in order to address these problems associated with the agricultural exports, the government of India has come up with the Agricultural Export Policy 2018. The Agriculture Export Policy 2018 seeks to double the exports of the agricultural commodities, which presently stands at $30 billion on an annual basis to $60 billion. The agriculture export policy also seeks to diversify our export basket. It also seeks to undertake more amount of value addition in our export basket. So just like how we have launched the Make in India in order to boost the domestic manufacturing, the Agriculture Export Policy 2018 seeks to focus on Bake in India. So Bake in India means whatever agricultural commodities that we are producing, these agricultural commodities have to be processed. And once they are processed, we have to enhance our overall exports. By enhancing our exports, we would not only be able to get more amount of export earnings, but it will also help the government in realizing its vision of doubling the farmers' income. But having said that, boosting the agricultural exports from India faces innumerable constraints and challenges. That is what this question is asking you about. The question is, what do you think are the constraints and bottlenecks in boosting the agricultural exports? So we have not asked a question with respect to the present status. We have not asked a question with respect to the agricultural export policy. Rather, we have asked you a question wherein you are required to discuss as to what are the constraints and challenges in boosting the agricultural exports. So as far as from where can you get the necessary knowledge in order to answer this particular question? The knowledge to answer to this particular question can be, you can get this knowledge by reading the Jan 2020 edition of the Focus magazine. As you can see in this particular Focus magazine, we have covered a topic which is called as boosting the agricultural exports and how it can be a tool to double the income levels of the farmers. In this particular Focus magazine, we have discussed different dimensions related to boosting of agricultural exports, such as why there is a need to boost agricultural exports, what is the present status, the Agriculture Export Policy 2018, what are the constraints in boosting the agricultural exports, and what do you think are the suggestions or the recommendations in order to boost the agricultural exports. And in order to do that, we have basically taken these suggestions or recommendations from the Committee of Doubling of Farmers' Income that was headed by Mr. Ashok Dalwai. So whatever knowledge which you need in order to answer this particular question, all that knowledge is there in Focus edition of Jan 2020. Let us now decode this particular question. One of the most important aspects to approach the UPSC mains examination is you have to develop a knack of decoding the questions asked in the mains examination. In order to decode a question, always try to identify as to what is the central theme or the premise of the question. In this particular question, the central theme happens to be the agricultural exports. And as you can read the question, there are two dimensions of this question. The first dimension is as to why the export of agricultural commodities have not increased in spite of increase in the agricultural production. That is one dimension. The second dimension is what are the challenges in boosting the agricultural exports. Now, when you are attempting a question in the UPSC mains examination, it so happens that you may come across more than one dimension. Now, both of these dimensions may not be primary dimensions. One dimension could be primary dimension and the other could be a secondary dimension. So here, if you read the question carefully, you would get to know that the primary dimension or the primary focus of the question is to discuss the constraints and challenges. Whereas the secondary dimension is to highlight as to why the agricultural exports have not increased in spite of increase in the production. Obviously, here you have to focus more upon the primary dimension, that is discussing the constraints and challenges, but if you write only the primary dimension, that is about constraints and challenges, without emphasizing on the secondary dimension, your answer would remain incomplete. If you want to do a full justice to this particular question, you would have to write for both the primary dimension as well as the secondary dimension. But as the name suggests, your more amount of time or more amount of words should be focused upon highlighting the challenges and constraints in boosting the agricultural exports. So having decoded the question, what all dimensions should you cover in this question? Obviously, the primary dimension, as I told you, is to what are the challenges in boosting the agricultural exports. But when you're writing the answer in the UPSC mains examination, obviously you cannot jump to the constraints and challenges. Say this is a central pillar. In order to support the central pillar, you need to have certain secondary pillars. These secondary pillars are quite important because they support the central theme or the central premise. So what are those secondary dimensions or the secondary pillars? One obviously is as to what is the present status of the agricultural exports. Second is about the agricultural export policy 2018. And once you identify various constraints and challenges, if you just conclude the answer without highlighting the strategies which the government has to adopt in order to boost agricultural exports, your answer would always remain incomplete. So in order to do a full justice to this particular question, you have to highlight one or two strategies that the government has to adopt in order to boost the agricultural exports. When you talk about the strategies, you can basically talk about the strategies as recommended by the Committee on Doubling of Farmers' Income. So these are the general dimensions that you have to cover while writing the answer to this particular question. So having said this, let us understand as to what all things should you write in the introduction, in the body, and in the conclusion. See, when it comes to the introduction, always remember, introduction basically introduces the central theme or the central premise of the question. And if there are more than two dimensions in the question, the introduction should give a brief highlight about both these dimensions, and if possible, try to link these two dimensions. And here, as you can see in this question, we have a statement. The statement says that even though India is one of the largest producers, we have not been able to enhance our agricultural exports. And this has not benefited our country also, it has not benefited our farmers also. So what is one of the best introduction is, your best introduction in this case would be substantiate the statement that has been given in the question. What can be this statement? The statement here could be, despite being one of the largest producers of the agricultural commodities, India's share in the global export of agricultural commodities is hardly around 2%, and India is placed at 9th rank. This has not only affected our export earnings, but it has also reduced our ability to double the income levels of the farmers. So what have you done here? You have substantiated the statement given in the question. So wherein you have highlighted that it has not benefited us at the macroeconomic level in terms of export earnings. It has not benefited us at the macro level also in terms of reduced income levels of the farmers. So this can be your introduction. When you come to the body of the answer, in the body of the answer, your first part of the body of the answer or the first dimension in the body of the answer should be a logical way with respect to your introduction. It should link to the introduction. So in the introduction you have written that our agriculture exports have not increased. So logical way to interlink this with the body of the answer could be as to what is the present status of agricultural exports, wherein you can highlight that there is lack of diversification of our agriculture export basket. Then most of the agricultural products that we export are of low value, and in order to address this, government has come up with the Agricultural Export Policy 2018. So this is a logical way. Now, once you highlight that government has come up with the Agriculture Export Policy 2018 in order to double the export of the agriculture commodities, the next interlinked dimension, logical flow would be what are the constraints and challenges. So here a simple statement would be, even though the Agriculture Export Policy 2018 seeks to double the export of agriculture commodities, it faces innumerable constraints and challenges. Obviously, when you're writing about the constraints and challenges, you would come across a number of constraints and challenges. Now, all of these points would be a scattered points. If you want to have good marks in the mains examination, you should develop this knack of arranging these random points in a logical and coherent manner. Your answer should be well structured. Since this happens to be the primary dimension, this part should be well structured. And how can that be done in this particular case? Here, when you're discussing about the constraints and challenges, you can discuss these constraints and challenges in terms of supply side constraints and challenges and the demand side constraints and challenges. What are the supply side constraints? Supply side constraints basically means what are the constraints that we face when we are exporting the agricultural commodities to other countries. That is the supply side. Demand side means what are the constraints that we face when countries are importing the agricultural commodities from us. So you're clearly delineated two different aspects, two broad dimensions. Now within these dimensions, you would get at least 4 to 5 points. So you have to discuss or elaborate on those 4 to 5 points. For example, with respect to supply side constraint, you can say that there is lack of stable export policy. Now, if you see, the government of India has so far not given due amount of emphasis on boosting the agricultural exports. Most of the time, the government's emphasis is on ensuring adequate amount of production or supply of the agricultural commodities within the domestic market. That is why you must have seen that whenever there is a shortage of agricultural commodities in the domestic market, the government immediately goes for the export ban the export of the agricultural commodities. One of the recent example happens to be the ban on the export of onions. Undoubtedly, this is a good move because this will help us ensure that right amount of agricultural commodities are available in the domestic market. But just imagine as to what would happen if the Indian government keeps on frequently putting ban on the export of agricultural commodities. In that case, India's image as a reliable and a stable partner for the export of the agricultural commodities, this image of India would get dented. That is why countries across the world are reluctant to buy agricultural commodities from India. They believe that at any point of time, the Indian government could put a ban on the export of agricultural commodities, and in that case, they'll not be able to buy these agricultural commodities from India. So that is why instead of relying on India for the agricultural commodities, they tend to rely on the other countries. So this happens to be one of the biggest constraint or the challenge. Second one is related to lack of market intelligence. Now, if you want to understand the importance of market intelligence for boosting the exports, one of the best example happens to be China. Now, China, as you know, is one of the largest producers as well as exporters of goods. The reason why China has been able to come across itself as a largest exporter is because it carries out a market intelligence. Now, by carrying out the market intelligence, China tries to find out the pulse of the importing countries. When I say pulse means China tries to know as to what is the demand in a particular country and at what point of time which particular commodity is in much higher demand. Now, for example, you must have seen that during Diwali, China starts exporting more amount of goods such as the Diwali lights, Diwali lamps, the idols of Hindu gods and goddesses, and so on. because China has carried out this market intelligence. China knows that these commodities are in much higher demand during the Diwali, and that is why China has been able to boost the exports. We, on our part, do not give due amount of emphasis on the market intelligence. Take for instance, Alfonso mangoes. Alfonso mangoes are quite in demand in case of India because these mangoes are quite sweet. Now we Indians assume that we like sweet mangoes, and we assume that people across the world also like sweet mangoes. And we start exporting these Alfonso mangoes to countries such as European Union. But in some of the countries in the European Union, the demand for the sweet mangoes is lower. This clearly shows lack of market intelligence on behalf of India. Then there are n number of other problems when we are exporting agricultural commodities from India. For example, the land holdings are highly fragmented. The Indian agriculture is come to be dominated by the small and marginal farmers. The yield of agricultural produce is lower. There is lack of aggregation. Then the restrictive APMC regime. Then the post-harvest management, particularly. There is lack of investment in cold chain infrastructure. So there are n number of problems when we say from the supply side. What about the demand side? Demand side, as I told you, is a constraint that we face when the countries are trying to import the commodities from India. So some of these demand side problems include higher customs duty on the import of the agriculture commodities, then the adverse impact of free trade agreements that India has signed with other countries. So because of these free trade agreements, India has been forced to import the agricultural commodities from the other countries at almost 0% customs duty, which in turn is having an adverse impact on our Indian agriculture. Similarly, you must have heard about the WTO agreement on sanitary and phytosanitary measures. According to this particular agreement, an importing country can ban the import of an agricultural commodity if it believes that the import of such an agricultural commodity would have an adverse impact on the human health, the plant health, or the animal health. So in the recent times, countries such as US, European Union, etc. have indiscriminately used the WTO agreement on the sanitary and phytosanitary measures against India, wherein these countries frequently they have put a ban on the import of basmati rice because they believe that the basmati rice that we export to other countries that has high level of insecticide and pesticide residues. So there are n number of problems when we say from the perspective of the demand side. So when you are discussing the constraints and challenges, you have clearly identified two dimensions, that is supply side and demand side, and in each of these dimensions you are covering the sub dimensions. And lastly, when you come to the conclusion, what can be the best conclusion here? See, one of the best conclusion in this particular case would be a kind of way forward. You are ending the answer on an optimistic note. And what can be this here? You have identified various constant challenges. So you can end your answer by giving certain policy recommendations as given by the Committee on Doubling of Farmers' Income. Apart from that, you can also highlight that in order to double the income levels of the farmers by the end of 2022, we need to double the agricultural exports so that the farmers in India are able to realize higher value for their agricultural produce. So all of these aspects you can write in your answer. Now, whatever answer I discussed, this looks like a good answer. But question is, how can you enrich your answer? What more points can you write in your answer in order to get more marks? See, when you want to enrich your answer, there are multiple ways of enriching. One is obviously by quoting facts and figures. One is by quoting the committee reports. The other one is by incorporating diagrams or flowcharts in your answer. So there are multiple ways of enriching this answer. One of the best way to enrich this particular answer is to enrich your primary dimension, that is constraints and challenges. So how can you enrich the primary dimension? See, in the primary dimension here, you can make a flow chart as to how the agriculture exports is in a kind of vicious cycle. What is a vicious cycle? See, first and foremost, you have small land holdings. Because of small land holdings, the yield is lower. There is poor aggregation of agricultural produce. Then there is a restrictive APMC regime. Because there is restrictive APMC regime, then we have the problem of logistics, particularly the logistic cost, port, cold chain infrastructure, then the transportation of goods and etc. This is not quite good enough. Then you can highlight as to the demand side measures, demand side constraints, such as higher custom duty, higher quota on the import of agricultural commodities into other countries, and then this. So this is a vicious cycle that the agricultural exports has got into. So this diagram itself will do a lot of enrichment to your answer. Apart from that, as I highlighted before, you can also enrich your answer by quoting facts and figures. The facts and figures such as India accounts for only 2% in the global share of agricultural exports. India is placed at 9th rank. Then the target that agricultural export policy 2018 has set, that is to double the agricultural exports from $30 billion on an annual basis to $60 billion. So some of these facts and figures can be quoted by you. So this is how you can enrich your answer. So having discussed this, let us look at the model answer which we have highlighted. So as you can see, the introduction has substantiated a statement that was given in the question. Then we have incorporated this mind map as to why there is a need for boosting the agricultural exports. Then in the body, as you can see, we started with the present status of the agricultural exports. Then we started discussing the reasons. In the reasons, we first highlighted the supply side reasons, and then the demand side reasons. And then lastly, in our conclusion, we have linked doubling of farmers' income to the doubling of agricultural exports as enunciated under the Agricultural Export Policy 2018. So this is how you have to approach the answer to this particular question. Thank you one and all for watching this video.